Well, people want to get a no income proof business loan, but the question is, do they have a code? Do they have the formula to actually get approved all the time? This is something important. So in today's conversation, I want to talk about no income proof business loan for a massive amount, how to ace the loan interview and get approved quickly. Don't you go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee. Another edition of the Awesome Sweaty Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great and blessed as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka. Now let's roll. In today's conversation, we have a clear topic. How do you ace the loan interview and get approved quickly? Of course, we are speaking about no income proof business loan for a massive amount. We're not speaking about small amounts. We're speaking about a giant amounts, okay? 5 digits, 6 digits, 7 digits, okay? The first thing you need to do is, if you want to ace the loan interview and get your cash as soon as possible, boss, I'm talking to you, you better take care of your accounting procedures. Oh yeah. See, simply because we're speaking about a no income proof business loan, the lender wants to pay attention to your internal structure. Do you have a proper accounting process in place? You better have that, because they are going to pay attention to how you process transactions, how you report transactions. Okay, so have proper accounting procedures in place. This is important. And I'm not asking you to have a PhD in accounting. No, I'm asking you to have a system in place. You can outsource the whole operation. Okay, you can have a third party do your accounting, or if you have some money, you can hire someone. You can hire a bookkeeper. You can hire a junior accountant to actually process your transactions, or you can do it yourself. You can do things yourself if you have a knack for accounting and financial reporting. This is important. See, when we talk about accounting, the lender wants to make sure that you have a process in place to identify transactions, boss, to record transactions in a journal, things like posting. Okay, and sometimes they want to look at your trial balance. There's something called unadjusted trial balance. There's something called worksheets. There's something called adjusting journal entries. I'm speaking to you about financial statements, about closing the books. Those are important elements. You might be thinking, hey, listen, I don't need this. But guess what? If you want to get a no income proof business loan, and you don't have in other words, you don't have a way to prove your income, you better have some type of accounting so that the lender knows, hey, listen, this company is legit. This company, if it were to be audited by state tax authorities or by the IRS, this company has a chance of surviving that audit. Okay, and you can actually get online accounting software such as the QuickBooks, Expensify, Xero, Wave, and whatnot, and that will help you actually have a proper accounting process in place. So big decision time, boss. Big decision time. I want you to write down right now. Do you have a current accounting system in place? How solid is your accounting process? Talk to me about that. And don't try to razzle dazzle me with, I have an accounting process, but I don't have a solid one, but I have a something. No, boss. You better really have a clear accounting process, okay? Nothing, no if and buts, something clear. If you want to get a no income proof business loan for a massive amount, you need to demonstrate liquidity. Yeah. See, the lender is not asking you to provide proof of income. No problem about that, okay? For some reason, you don't want or you can't provide proof of income, but you better provide proof of liquidity. I'm talking about cash flows. I'm talking to you about ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. You need to be able to demonstrate to the lender that you have the ability to repay the loan. Oh yeah. Demonstrate that your company's projected cash flows are positive. So here, we're not even talking about actual results. I'm not talking to you about you having a business and you running a business and you are generating cash flows. No, I'm talking about projected financial statements. In other words, you have to have a situation where you can forecast positive cash flows. Those cash flows better be positive, because otherwise you ain't getting any no proof of income business loan. Okay, and when we talk about liquidity, and that's the technical word for it, liquidity. Liquidity means just cash flows. Okay, in other words, it means that you have assets and you are able to generate revenue, and by way of consequence, cash flows from those assets. Okay, you make sales, you have equipment, you have all kinds of assets that generate revenue. This is important because liquidity is quintessential because it tracks the financial health of your business. It helps you secure a no income proof business loan. Okay. And it also serves as a benchmark against other companies in your industry. Because the lender, don't you think for a second that the lender is lending to only you in the industry. No, they probably have a track record already in your industry. So they've been lending to other people, to other companies. Okay. So they will probably try to evaluate your business against other businesses in terms of seeing where you are in terms of liquidity. So when we talk about liquidity, we're speaking about assets, not only short-term assets, but long-term assets. Okay. In accounting, whenever you hear the word assets or short-term means something you can monetize or you can liquidate within a year. Long-term means beyond a year. Okay. So short-term, you have accounts receivable, you have inventory, you have cash itself. And long-term assets, you have property, plant, and equipment. Okay. It's important. So money, boss. Money. Right now, do you have liquidity? What is your liquidity status? Talk to me about that. Okay. Talk to me clearly about your liquidity situation. Do you have cash sitting in the bank account, or you just scraping by? You're just having a hard time right now. Okay. I want to talk to you about liability. So after liquidity, we need to have a conversation about liability. Again, we are still speaking about no income proof business loan for a large amount. And if you want to ace the loan interview, you need to actually account for your company's present debts. Okay, so your company's present debts, we're speaking about your liabilities, your short-term liabilities, your present short-term liabilities, and your present long-term liabilities. Okay, so when we talk about your liabilities, we are speaking about a financial statement called your balance sheet. This is important. So your balance sheet is going to actually showcase your liabilities. Okay, because when you look at a balance sheet, what do you see? You have one part that goes to the assets and another part that goes to the liability, right? So when you subtract your liabilities from your assets, what do you have? You have your net worth, your company's net worth, also called stockholders' equity. Okay, and so you really want to, the lender is going to take a look anyway at your liabilities. They're going to ask you during the loan interview to talk to them about your liabilities because they want to make sure that you are able to repay them, because that's important. They're not giving you their cash and just sitting around and just and when it comes time to repay them, you just start playing games and they're just calling you and they can't really reach you, and you don't pick up your phone anymore. No. Because the thing here is that you need to have a proper accounting of your liabilities. This goes back to what I was talking to you earlier about having the proper accounting process, right? So when we talk about your liabilities, the lender is going to ask you questions about your accounts payable, your accrued expenses, your income tax payable. Oh yeah. Your interest payable. Do you have short-term notes payable? Do you have the current portion of your long-term loan? Okay. Do you have dividends payable? Do you have unearned revenue? So those are really important. So unearned revenue is actually a liability. I mean, this is a technical term, but revenue is not a liability generally, but unearned revenue in accounting is a liability because you have earned revenue. You have actually a client that has paid you cash, but you haven't earned the revenue yet. Okay. And when we talk about long-term liabilities, we're talking about long-term loans, long-term lease obligations. In some cases, you might have product warranties. So, cuz I'm talking to you about, we're having a big decision time here. What is the state of your liabilities? Big decision time. Talk to me about those. You are trying to get a loan is because you don't have cash right now, but do you have other outstanding debts that might cripple your application for a no income proof business loan? Think about that. Mother, I want to talk to you about budgeting. If you're trying to get a business loan, especially a no income proof business loan for a large amount, you better have a clear budgeting process in place. Oh yeah, this is important. I mean, the thing is, a lot of entrepreneurs, they just go apply for a business loan and they just like, and then they're just surprised that their ass has been denied. Well, this is because you don't have a proper budgeting in place. because the lender wants to make sure. Again, when we go back to the lender, the lenders, their only concern is to be repaid. They want to get the cash back. They're giving you money, okay? But they better make sure that they're getting their cash back. And another way to actually evaluate the solidity, evaluate the strength of your business is through budgeting. Do you have a proper budgeting in place? We're speaking about business budgeting, okay? We're speaking about a system that anticipates annual revenue and expenses. A system that actually looks at your processes, your operational processes, and sees inefficiencies and sees areas where you can improve things. Okay, you got to have a framework. Yeah. Oh yeah. When we talk about your business budgeting, you need to have a framework for your business finances. Okay, that details everything from your past year performance to your current year performance. Okay, a framework that set goals, priorities, spending caps. Okay, and you need to actually have a clear understanding where the money is coming from. This is important, bro. Sister, I'm talking to you. This is important. You need to have a clear idea where your cash is coming from, and you need to have a clear idea where your cash is going to. Oh yeah. Okay. So you want to have a budget also to evaluate your company performance. Okay. Again, simply because you are seeking a no income proof business loan for a large amount doesn't mean you are just running your business as any other business. No, you need to have a legit business. And when we talk about budgeting, we are speaking about several things. We are speaking about static budgets, performance-based budgets, zero-based budgets. We also talk about variance analysis. Those are things I can talk about in another show. If you're interested, just let me know in the comment section. Okay. And you can also actually use budgeting to plan your staffing, how many people you want to hire. Okay. And you can also, so when we talk about business budgeting, there are a lot of benefits you can derive from that process. You can assess your financial health. You can use strategic planning to reach your goals. You can obtain debts. You can attract investors only. You can also do tax preparation. It can help you, and it can help you overall in decision making. So money, boss. Money. When we're speaking about budgeting, we're speaking about having a clear idea of money coming into your business and money going out. Very important. I want to talk to you about the loan proceeds. The thing here is that the lender is going to ask you, what is the use of the loan proceeds? Okay. And remember, we are having a no income proof business loan. And most of the time, this type of loans are collateralized. In other words, the lender is going to give you the money based on some kind of collateral that you have. You can use the money for equipment financing. And sometimes you can also use accounts receivable financing, accounts receivable factoring. In some cases, you can even get some loan from your electronic sales if you have credit card sales and debit card sales. Okay. And that's called merchant cash advance. In most cases, no income proof business loans are collateralized unless you have a strong personal FICO score or a strong business credit score. And the lender might actually trust you, quote unquote, trust you with their cash without any kind of collateral. But most of the time, I'm talking 95%, I'm speaking 98% of the time, all these loans we are speaking about, they are collateralized. But the thing is that the lender still wants to know what you're going to use the money for. And see, when we talk about no income proof business loan, a lot of legit business reasons are out there. Okay. You can use the cash to purchase inventory. Yeah. You can use the money to purchase equipment. Yeah. You can also use the cash for working capital. So we're talking about day-to-day expenses, right? Everything from your personnel, from your payroll to office supplies to little things here and there. So you really need the money for day-to-day expenses, for marketing, for advertising, right? If you're running a CPC campaign online, you want to have the cash for that to actually shine on Facebook and YouTube and whatnot. So you really want to have but the thing is, you need to have a clear explanation of the what you need the money for. They're going to ask you, the lender is going to ask you, okay? And you can also use the money to refinance or pay other debts. If you're lucky enough to get a good APR, a good transaction, yeah, why not? And I've spoken about marketing also. This is important. So big decision time, boss. I want you to think right now. If you were to get a no income proof business loan, what would you use the money for? And don't tell me this is a simple question. No. Most of the time you are sitting there thinking, hey, listen, I already know what I'm going to use the money for. But have you articulated a clear answer to the lender? I'm not talking to you about answering your grandmother or your grandfather at a Thanksgiving dinner about what are you going to use the money for. No, we're speaking about articulating a clear and compelling answer, okay, to the lender. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Studio Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation about no income proof business loan for a large amount and how do you ace the loan interview. Like, so when you apply the first time around, how do you make sure that you get the loan, the massive loan amount that you need and you deserve? So I want to talk to you about taxes. It's important. You need to establish compliance with federal and state tax laws because the lender will check that aspect of things also. Okay, if you're looking for a no income proof business loan, you better have a solid tax situation. When we talk about tax situations, we're talking about business tax returns and in some cases personal tax returns. Okay, and we are paying attention to your tax filing structure. See, the thing here is that when we talk about taxes, when we talk about business tax returns, we're speaking about several things. We're speaking about a process that you must have in place to comply with all the constellation of taxes you have, okay, a business have, everything from sales taxes to property taxes to income taxes to payroll taxes and we're also talking about the tax return itself. We're speaking about the 1120S, the 1120, the 1065, or the Schedule C of Form 1040 in case you are a single member LLC or a sole proprietorship, for instance. Okay, and that's what the IRS calls disregarded entity. You are a disregarded entity. One thing I want to say here is that establishing compliance with federal and state tax laws is quintessential because it shows the lender that you are a legit business and that you know exactly what kind of liabilities you might have from tax authorities. And please, we're speaking about not only federal tax returns, we are speaking about state tax returns also, okay? Because there's a whole lot of there are many things that you need to think about when we think about compliance with state tax laws, depending on the state where your company operates, okay? And please don't forget your federal unemployment taxes, your FUTA and your SUTA. SUTA stands for state unemployment taxes, okay? Your FICA taxes, which are your Social Security and Medicare taxes, okay? Those are paid by both employees and employers, okay? And one thing you also want to think about is what kind of gross receipts tax and state income tax you have on your business, okay? And in some cases, you also need to think about the dividend tax on corporate shareholders. In case you have a larger company, you need to think about that, okay? So long story short, money, 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 boss. Money, money, money. We need to be very clear about how much money we owe tax authorities here, okay? And we need to make sure that there are no real audit triggers within the company, that we are able to that we are current with all our payments and everything is fine. The last thing I want to talk to you about, boss, is your business plan. See, the thing here is that if you're trying to get a no income proof business loan for a large amount, you need to present a compelling business plan. Oh yeah, no ifs and buts about that. You want to have a clear idea. I mean, the thing here is that, remember, the lender has no idea of your income, but the lender needs to have a clear idea about the solidity of your business, about the vision you have, about your business model, what kind of goals you have, what are you thinking about bringing the business in the long run. Those are important elements, okay? And when we talk about business plan, we are speaking about having a clear executive summary, making sure that you have somebody who actually writes in a very articulated way about the business, okay? And remember that if you have a compelling business plan, you are 2 to 3 times more likely to actually get the loan you are asking for, because business planning improves your decision making process, improves lenders understanding your business. Okay, and business plans and their financial models are valuable to lenders. They're valuable to investors. They're valuable to yourself as a business owner. Okay, and it's important to have that. So when you think about a business plan, I want you to think about your company overview, the market overview, the product or service overview. I want you to think about financial projections. Those are important. Okay, and you can see on the screen right now, there is a process in place. There's a code, there's a formula to make sure you write a compelling business plan. And hey, boss, I'm not asking you yourself to write a business plan if you have no knack for financial literature, for writing financial literature. You can outsource the whole operation. Okay, I've said this time and again. If you are not expert in the field, you want to hire someone who are better than you. So as you can see on the screen here, when we talk about business plan, we have a code. So you need to think about the company overview, the market overview, the product or service overview, your financial projections, and all this contribute to you having an excellent business plan. Okay, and it's important to understand that a business plan is the foundation of your business. So big decision time, boss. Big decision time. Do you currently have a business plan? Do you have a solid, compelling business plan? That should be the question. Think about that, because you need to have one. Whether you're looking for a loan or not, you still need to have a business plan. Thank you so much for your attention, boss. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was speaking to you about no income proof business loan for a large amount. How do you ace the loan interview? So I spoke to you about having a proper accounting process in place. I spoke to you about liquidity and liability. I spoke to you about budgeting and loan proceeds, use of loan proceeds. I spoke to you about taxes, and I spoke to you about the business plan. So those are important, boss. They are important. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.